here, security! What is happening here? This is ours! Hey, this is ours! This is ours! This is ours! Security! Can you please do your job? They are messing our stuff! Can you please do your job?
Once we put up a board with a few posters that we brought, the BDS started being very violent, ripping our posters, pushing us, yelling, spitting at us. And the crazy thing is that the security guard did nothing.
After that first day, morale was pretty low, and we held a meeting that night to strategize the rest of the week. We realized that more important than Israel outreach is for the Jewish students, the pro-Israel students, to take a stand, not just for that week, but for year-round. And we realized that the next day, whatever happens, we have to hold a line.
Day 2, we woke up really early and arrived on campus in order to hold our line. We had a speaker from our delegation, an Arab Israeli, who got up to tell his story, his personal story about what he experiences in Israel. Halfway through his speech, they came and cut the cable to his microphone. After they cut the cord, and then they immediately started to rush our part of the ground, our part of the plaza. They started physically abusing people, ripping up posters again, and trying to actually get physical.
I'm often confronted with a question.
Down Israel! Fans coming inside! Don't be under down Israel!
Makes people want to kill Jews, because Jews don't behave.
As soon as the BDS side became violent and rushed our side of the field, we immediately erupted in singing and dancing, showing the true face of the Israeli delegation and
We knew the BDS are planning a dine for the third day. A dine is an activity where BDS supporters are cover themselves in fake blood and holding pictures of dead Palestinians.
We stayed up all night printing out posters of Israeli victims of Palestinian terror. Sure enough, the BDS activists came around to our side, despite the rules saying that they're not allowed to, and held their die-in right in the middle of our display. When they looked up, 50 Jewish students and allies pulled out pictures of Israeli victims of Palestinian terror and signs saying that we respect the dead on both sides and no more people need to die in this conflict. It made BDS and their die-in look like disrespectful theatrical propaganda at its worst.
BDS was so mad that we stole their photo, they took out a Hezbollah flag and started waving it on our side of the plaza. Hezbollah is an internationally recognized terrorist organization that openly calls for the genocide of the Jewish people. After they waved the Hezbollah flag, there was a standoff between our side and their side. We waved the Israeli flag and they waved the Hezbollah flag. Wits University did nothing.
I don't know if it was because they took a lot of hits that week or they just ran out of energy, but on the final day of Israel Apartheid Week, the Israeli students had the whole plaza to themselves and BDS was a no-show.
The Stand With Us delegation really made an invaluable contribution to our 2017 Israel Apartheid Week campaign. They were an amazing support system with a wealth of knowledge, and to have Israelis on the ground always helping us and to be able to send students to them was really a phenomenal experience.
Israel Apartheid Week is a very fluid situation. The Stand With Us delegation were very helpful in aiding us get our message across effectively and adapting it to what was happening on the ground.
Having the Stand With Us delegation in South Africa during Israel Apartheid Week was a useful tool. It was very important to be able to send South African students, both Zionist students and students who knew nothing about the conflict, to talk to Israelis and hear their perspective.
It is important that Stand With Us have a presence on the ground in South Africa, because South Africa is ground zero for the BDS movement and home to one of the most violent and anti-Semitic Israel Apartheid Week campaigns in the world. Stand With Us is proud to stand with the South African Union of Jewish Students and the Jewish community and pro-Israel allies in South Africa to combat BDS and anti-Semitism.